Hey, I'm Quasi on board. Welcome back to another video. Today we're doing "Remain in Light" by the Talking Heads. Um, I don't know really anything about the group or anything like that overall. Album cover looked very interesting, and I saw it was in I guess the Apple like publications top 100 albums of all time. So I'm expecting a pretty interesting album. It's like 8 tracks, 40 minutes overall. Most of the track lengths were like 5 to 6 ish minutes, like between like probably like 4 to 6 total, like on average, like 4 to 6 minutes. So it should be pretty interesting, stylistically, all that stuff. Probably like decent like layers and like themes, overall with like the instrumentation and stuff. So yeah, let's get into it. First track is "Born Under Punches." The heat goes on. The guitar lines like intertwine. That looping pattern is nice. Sharp like synthesis right now. Nice. Okay. Okay, yeah, that was nice. So the album like initially opened like almost like I would say being dropped into like a moving system that's already in motion in a sense. Like the groove overall felt really circular to me. Really restless. Uh, kind of an organized chaos. That I would say is really similar in tandem with some other stuff on the channel so far. Those guitar lines that were in that, I think I even said it earlier, like intertwined in a looping pattern. Um, they had these small rhythmic fragments that, I don't know, they. I'm trying to think of like the best way to describe it. Rather than full chords, like the I'm trying to how can I like the bass sitting so the bass sits like really tight in this like rhythmic pocket and repeats almost like what becomes it becomes almost like hypnotic or like really catchy, I guess, to the ear. The just like the repeating pattern, and then the percussion section. It has these like hand drums that are really thick. These really syncopated hits, claps, and then those synth accents. They kind of flicker in and out. I would say. But while the rhythm overall feels is like really circular, just in terms of like the repeating patterns and stuff, it's really I'd say the layers feel really stacked, like in terms of like the way you hear it, like you hear one thing and then the next and the next and like the whole like overall pattern. And I don't know, it feels really well uh layered in terms of, I guess, more like instrumental chemistry. But the vocal delivery has like almost this jitteriness to it, in terms of like like intensity, talk singing. His tone was really frantic overall, maybe frenetic a little bit. At the same time, he kind of controlled the pace of the song pretty well, and and he's like talking about like the world shifting beneath him. I think there was some like identity stuff in there. I feel like that's pretty common with like a lot of the albums I've been listening to, like the central ideas. Um, Almost like an internal monologue. I feel like this song. I got some more like kinetic, paranoid, overall like vibes from this one, and the track kind of just pushes forward with no like real release on this track. So it feels like the track feels alive and like in motion, but also feels really unstable, which was cool. That was like a cool idea. Um, and then the groove overall being built from that what's like that technical? It's let's say 16th note pattern, if we're doing like 4 bar, right? Um, so like minimal harmonic movement, um, almost static at times. Your brain almost will start thinking more of the rhythmic complexities of stuff as opposed to just the melody. And the guitar even outlines small rhythmic cells as opposed to just chord progressions. So at the end of the track, I would say right now, um, it feels like an introduction that to a, I guess the overall album is probably going to be emphasizing more of motion in accordance to instrumental elements and how they fit in with each other. And then also, I think repetition is going to be like the band's way of expressing themselves, which is honestly going to be very interesting with like the form of like the tracks if they're this long. It'll be kind of interesting how they can alliterate their messages that way. So we'll see. Track 2, Crosseyed and Painless. Really groovy so far. I'll say almost immediately, the song was definitely like in terms of like the pace, definitely picked up a lot more. A lot more. I feel like the energy shift is like really noticeable overall. Once again, really rhythm heavy track, but this one's like really fast. I think really big focus here. For me, I don't know if everybody would agree, but I think here the focus for me musically overall, the drums for sure. Hand percussion, um, really punchy. Like the overall track was really punchy. I think the bass was a little distorted, slightly, um, and sat like higher in the mix. Um, I think there were some sharp stabs on the guitar that I noticed, and some synth slips, in like with the. I guess I'll call it like just like like the sonic texture of the track rather than the melodies again. But yeah, the drums for me were really noticeable, and the rhythm guitar. I feel like those two parts were really like tight grid, locked as like the main focus for me. Um, the lyrics about I think what was it, misinformation. I don't know. Overall, I got a really big theme of like distrust. Really, this song sounded like really danceable, but also like almost anxious or like nervous at times because there was like tension building in the track, but it didn't like boil over. Once again, like nothing like it didn't like there wasn't really a resolution to like the tension and like the build up. Um, like song felt almost crowded in a way. Um, with those, I guess it's just like the really rapid like offbeat accents. The groove was really centered around like fast 16th notes. The harmony was barely shifting and kind of like droning in a sense. And then one of the really interesting things about this track is that the rhythmic displacement among the instruments kind of helped build. I don't even want to call it like a stable like system of instrumentation for the track, but it gave me a first impression of like almost controlled panic in a sense. Um, that's probably the best way I could describe that. But yeah, I really liked how the singer sounded on this one, and then that uh, the way his delivery was matching the rhythmic density of this one was really cool. Um, yeah, I think overall this groove, I think I like the groove of this track more than the first so far. Track three, the Great Curve. It's fast again. See, like, really fast again. Nice.
Sometimes the world has a load of questions. Seems like the world knows nothing at all. The world is near, but it's out of reach. Some people touch it, but they can't hold on. She is moving to describe the world.
overall, I'd say the groove here had more of a what would the word be? Like upbeat tone to it. Like I don't know. I got like a happier like mood a little bit from this one, as opposed to the other two. And in terms of the rhythmic motion of the track, the high speed groove, you know, those large looming percussion layers, the quick guitar play as well, really constant. I think the highlight for me here was the vocal arrangement. The layers, once again, like that, the way they stack the layers with the background vocals, the like chant like parts as well, different pitches for like the same type of vocal. So like man, in those sections there would be the exact same, I don't know if it's the exact same recording, but like they'd be saying the same thing and everything, but the pitch would be different, or the overall tone. I don't know how they organized that, if they would just sing lower and higher and then just like arrange them the way they did, stack them. But that was almost hypnotic in a sense, because it just started repeating for a while, and it got to this point where like this track had built momentum with the same rhythm and loop, which was really cool with, in terms of, you know, like harmonic structuring of a song, but it stays like static in that way as well, because it's just like staying the same for a while. But there was large complexity to the layering of the patterns, and I think different lengths that they would have like certain parts looping for, that made it really interesting how the track developed overall for me. And also the single note guitar riffs rather than chords also made this a little more interesting as well, like the frequent use of that. I'd say so far this one had like more of an explosive moment in it compared to the other two so far, that I think helps make it stand out. So yeah, I think I also really enjoyed the percussion on this track as well. But the way the vocals were layered was probably like what caught my ear like the most initially. So yeah, that was really cool. We're at track 4 now. Once in a Lifetime. Synth like immediately, that's really, I already hear like that, you know.
You may find yourself living in a shotgun shack, and you may find yourself in another part of the world, and you may find yourself behind the wheel of a large automobile, and you may find yourself in a beautiful house with a beautiful wife, and you may ask yourself, well, how did I get here? Letting the days go by, let the water hold me down, letting the days
there was some like existential questions in that one. Um, he was talking about like daily, I guess like your routine, almost. And like once again, yeah, some like identity stuff in there. The way life can kind of pass you by and drift, especially if you don't, have intention, or like purpose, like in yourself, And I'm starting to think that, man, I could be wrong about the symbolism in the music, but maybe the repetition is showing that as well. Like becoming, somebody becoming really numb to a life that they might not find purpose in, or that they're just content with, all the days being like feeling the same, being the same. Um, like almost detached, I guess, in a sense. This is probably the most reflective track I think so far. I would say overall, and I really liked his I guess almost monologue in the song. He was like half speaking, half almost chanting, especially toward like that middle like delivery part, and then towards the end, like the same as it ever was, just repeating. Um, Even the delivery felt almost detached in a sense as well. Uh, and that synth that like kind of anchored the whole track was really cool. And it kind of set the tone of like that almost fleeting or like drifting feeling of life. There were really subtle. There were some subtle drums in there, and I think really minimal guitar as well. In there too. But I feel like the synth was kind of the star of the show instrumentally for this one. But yeah, that delivery was really cool, conceptually and everything. But yeah, definitely the most like introspective track so far, I think. Um, yeah, there were a lot of really cool ideas that I think they executed on really well there. But I think the vocal delivery was very important to this track as well. Similar to the last one. Houses in Motion,
For a
track
long time I
5.
felt without style or grace, wearing shoes with no socks in cold weather.
That was like,
My heart
yeah,
was in the right
it's
place.
heavier
I
groove.
knew I'd be able to do these things. As we watch him digging his own grave, it was important to know that was where he's at. Can't afford to stop. That is what he believes. He'll keep on digging for 1,000 years. I'm walking a line. I'm thinking about emotion. I'm walking a line.
really dark atmosphere with, I guess, the slower groove to me. There was more space in between sections here as well, so more sparse tonally. The vocalist, like his phrasing, was starting to feel a little slightly slurred in a sense. I got like some, I guess, ideas, like concepts of displacement, change, uh, almost like structure breaking down or failing to remain the same. Um, Even though the song was really slow moving, also, it felt a little claustrophobic at times, um, like trudging in a sense. Uh, like that when the brass entered occasionally, I think it added a little more depth to the track. The percussion was really dense and it remained dense, and even like the wound guitar, like the tight, it was a like tighter guitar here. Um, it tapped out of the small rhythmic fragments at times, and I don't know, like, man, I'm trying to think of how I can illustrate how the instrumentation was. There were some noticeable like small changes that made this track very different from the others so far. It's really hard for me to put into words, but I think the harmonic center remained mostly fixed for this track. um, the chromatic vocal movements added a sense of uneasiness, and then the horns introduced a little bit of melodic relief, but not like completely. So I think the tension like stayed like in like both like sonically and even with like the mood and everything, kind of stayed there still here. So it's kind of still in tandem with some aspects of the album that have been pretty noticeable, but very different so far. Track 6. Let's see. Seen and not seen. Okay. I think this is the shortest track so far, 2 and 3 minutes. I already hear the sparse bass.
He would see faces in movies, on TV, in magazines, and in books. He thought that some of these faces might be right for him, and that through the years, by keeping an ideal facial structure fixed in his mind, or somewhere in the back of his mind, that he might, by force of will, cause his face to approach those of his ideal. The change would be very subtle. It might take 10 years or so. Gradually his face would change its shape. A more hooked nose, wider, thinner lips, beady eyes, a larger forehead. This was an ability he shared with most other people. They had also molded their faces according to some ideal. Maybe they imagined their new face would better suit their personality. Or maybe they imagined that their personality would be forced to change to fit the new appearance. This is why first impressions are often correct.
It's like almost no guitar.
Although some people might have made mistakes, they may have arrived at an appearance that bears no relationship to them. They may have picked an ideal appearance based based on some childish whim or momentary impulse. Some have gotten halfway there and then changed their minds. He wonders if he too might have made a similar mistake.
I like the light percussion on this too. That was nice. I don't know why some of the mood felt a little unsettling, but overall got a really introspective vibe from it. You know, like almost someone's private thoughts, almost in a sense. I liked how his vocals were. It was pretty much just like speaking the whole song. Really unnerving, but also an aspect of calmness to it. It felt like he was describing someone else. Not exactly sure if that was the case, but that's what it sounded like. But yeah, like I was saying before with the instruments, pretty much no guitar on this. Like overall, like presence of this track, in terms of the sonic elements, a lot of negative space with the instrumentation. Cool bass pulses throughout, really sparse though, and then the gentle synth pads throughout the song helped add to that really eerie vibe. It was very ambient music, which I like, so that's probably one of my favorites so far, just for that aspect. And yeah, the really long sustaining tones were cool as well in the background. The rhythm kind of just like dissipated. I think the focus here was more one of like the storytelling aspect, and I think the track functioned more for like atmosphere with the instruments as opposed to typical song structure. And I think the more like philosophical aspects is shining here in the album. And yeah, definitely adding more to like the narrative overall and the story, which I think is really dope. So I actually enjoyed that more than I feel like I would have if I kind of was like told what to expect at this section. I think going in blind, I think I appreciate that track more. Track 7, Listening Wind. We're in the back half of the whole thing now. Airy percussion so far.
Thinks of days before Americans came. He sees the foreigners in going numbers. He sees the foreigners in fancy houses. He dreams of days that he can still remember. Now, Moshik holds a package in his quivering hands. Moshik sends the package to the American man. Softly, he glides along the streets and alleys. Up comes the wind that makes them run for cover. He feels the time is surely now or never more. The wind in my heart.
Yeah, this track's
The wind in my heart. The dust in my head. The dust in my head. dust in my head, the dust in my head, the wind in my heart, the wind in my heart, come to drive them away, drive them away. She buys his equipment in the marketplace. More chic plants their vices through the free trade zone. He feels the wind is lifting up his people. He calls the wind to guide him on his mission. He knows his friend the wind is always standing by. More chic smells the wind that comes from far away. More chic waits for news in a quiet place. He feels the presence of the wind beside him. He feels the power of the past behind him. He has the knowledge of the wind to guide him on. The wind in my heart, the wind in my heart, dust in my head, dust in my head. The wind in my heart, the wind in my heart, come to drive them away, drive them away. The wind in my heart, the wind in my heart, dust in my head, dust in my head.
Okay. I think the past couple tracks, this is probably the most emotional one. So, I don't think in the whole pack of them. I think track, what was it? Track, 4. I think that was like the emotional, climax of the album for me. But I think this one's up there. I like the, almost the haunting, atmosphere that the instruments kind of had set in, and that drifting energy. The soft synths, I really liked. You know, really, like I said early in the track, airy percussion, clean guitar lines overall. Everything's really light here, and I don't know. I think the singing was more tender with the vocals on this track. The tone gave almost a, I don't know, deeply sad, mournful execution and sound to it. And I don't know, I got like a really somber mood, really reflective from this track. Very, like a lot, I don't know, I felt a lot of emotional weight to this one. More shifting chords here, more conventional also, I think. And I don't know, the melody, it worked with the harmony in a more clear way in terms of the overall execution compared to earlier tracks. And I think it stands out for a lot of those reasons. I think it just being so emotionally centered makes it stand out, but also, yeah, a lot of the more technical aspects with the instrumentation definitely do that too. Okay. Final track I think we're getting to now. The Overload. Okay, 6 minutes again, cool.
changed in the weather. Of you to remember.
Like how dark this one is.
Center is missing. They question how the future lies
Has a really bleak atmosphere to it.
in someone's eyes. The gentle collapsing of every surface. We travel on the quiet road. The overload.
I like the really well, how would I say that? Like the really minimal but like stressed layers of instrumentation to this track. In terms of the I guess the concept of them being almost, I guess, like burnt out now and like exhausted at the end, or maybe I guess in terms like the narrative or whatever. But yeah, I think like the images of exhaustion, I guess burnout in a sense, and the words being really fragmented, I think also add on to that. It was like a slow fade almost in a sense to end the album. Yeah, that was really interesting. Wow. I like that one. It was like really bleak. It had like a really bleak tone to it. Like his really like lower registry of like the vocals. Man, he sounded really distant as well. The drums were sparse here. Like the low synth was cool, and then yeah, just like minimal pieces, you know, not a lot really of anything like in terms of like shifts or anything like that. So really slow, long sustained notes, slow tempo overall, you know. And I think even minor intervals dominated that track as well. Harmonic movement stayed very minimal or non-existent for a lot of it, which I think added to the weight of that track. Very strong way to end the album, to be honest. It works very well in tandem with like the other tracks, how everything was organized and shifting, and really cool idea. I feel like there's something I'm missing with the either like the narrative or with the like the reason everything sounds the way it does. I really want to understand like the repeating more. Also, yeah, track 2 I really liked too. That was good. Yeah, I gotta listen to this more. I'm really liking like the alternative albums I've been hearing. I think I'm gonna do it in Rainbow's reaction soon. I'm gonna be traveling, so I think some of the uploads I wanted to do today. I don't even know if this one will come out today like it's supposed to. Because the Gorillaz one I was having trouble with. I'll probably have to post an announcement about that. But once I get back to where I'd normally record from, then I can probably do like a lot more, and I'll also have like access to like my whole archive, so I can put more stuff on the Patreon for you guys. Anything that I've struggled to have on the channel, I can just put there. So yeah, that'll be it for me today. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one. Peace.